In this video, we are going to go over how to justify the steps of your solution process of solving two-step equations. That is, whoa, that is a long title. So what does that mean? What does justify mean? To justify something means to back it up, to say, this is why I can do the action that I did. So let's see how that applies to these problems. So we have the equation r plus 17 over 5 equals negative 3. The first step that I do is going to be the normal steps that I usually do in solving equations like this, as I've shown you in the past. The difference is that we are going to say, after we make that step, what we did to get to the next step. Let me show you. So we are going to multiply both sides by 5 to undo division by 5. So I do that like normal. So multiply both sides by 5. That undoes 5 and 5, and you're left with r plus 17 equals negative 3. The justification comes in saying what we did here. Some teachers are a little more lax, a little more relaxed, a little more lenient, and you're able to say, I multiply both sides by 5. Or I multiply both sides by 5 to undo division. I use very formal speak, so I'm going to talk about the property that we used. We used the multiplication property of equality, which says you can multiply both sides of an equation by the same number. You can check out older videos on all the number properties to see just what I'm talking about with that. Right? So and I'll abbreviate here, multiplication, so that's multiplication, property, I'll write that as prop, of equality. So the multiplication property of equality. That's how I knew I could get to that step. Then I'm going to subtract 17 from both sides. Nice. So I do that and I get r is equal to negative 3 minus 17 is negative 20. So I'm not changing how I'm solving, I'm just kind of annotating or illustrating or narrating what I did to get there. What did I do to both sides? I subtracted 17. So how to justify? Ask yourself, what did I do? So I subtract 17 from both sides, which would be the subtraction property. Subtraction, I'll just say subtraction prop of equality. And you know you're done justifying because we've gotten down to the last step. So just a mini introduction into how to justify your steps. Here's a second example of justification. So 2n minus 6 equals 12.3. We want to undo the order of operations, so I'm going to undo minus 6 first, so I will add 6 to both sides. So I add 6 to both sides. And that leaves me with 2n is equal to 18.3. Now the justification part again answers the question of, what did I do to get here? How am I allowed to do that? Well, I added 6 to both sides of the equation to undo subtraction of 6. I used the addition property of equality. So you're going to see a theme here. So I'm going to abbreviate that, addition prop of equality. Again, your teacher might want you to write that out formally or maybe not. It's up to each teacher. Then I'm going to divide both sides by 2 to undo multiplication by 2. And that is going to leave me with 9.15. So n is equal to 9.15. Now, how did I get from 2n to n? I divided both sides by 2 to undo multiplication by 2. That is the division property of equality. So you're seeing, again, a common theme. Now, as you get into multi-step equations down the road, if you need to justify those, name the other properties that you're using. Justification is all about answering, what did I do to get from the original part to the next changed part? That's it. And some teachers want you to write a little more formally like I would. Some people are a little more relaxed and you're just telling a story of what happened. Justify your work when asked. See you next time.